Hey, from New Jersey, this is SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
Hey, John Trumbull, happy March, my good man.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it is March now, isn't it?
Yes, we're marching into March, the merry, merry month of March, March Madness. Marchy March.
Woo!
Marchy March and the funky March.
Yes.
Is that how it goes?
Yes. That's exactly it. You got that exactly right. No
Yes.
Notes.
Nailed it. Slam dunk, nothing but net.
Yep.
Holler.
It's funny because like the way you started the show, I could tell you were like putting on a little more energy because like Darren told me just before we started recording, he's like, oh, I'm fighting off a bit of a cold. And
Right.
so I might be a little low energy this week, and then you come in hot on the intro.
Yeah, I gotta perform for the people, our listeners. I gotta bring it. I gotta do what I gotta do. It's hey, if you gotta do a bump of cocaine in order to perform for the audience, goddamn, you do that cocaine.
This escalated quickly. Wow.
What?
Okay.
What did I say?
You said you took some Dayquil.
Yes, that's it.
To give you energy to get through the podcast.
That's like Dayquil gives me energy.
White powdery energy.
Yes, sweet white powdery, sugary sweet energy.
Yes.
Oh, wow, my gums.
Oh, that's good energy.
Oh my God, we should make a movie. Totally got an idea. Totally got a backer.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So we're here to discuss Saturday Night Live. That's kind of what we do here, seeing as how we're the SNL nerds and all. This week, for instance, we are covering the Sydney Sweeney, Kacey Musgraves episode, season 49, episode 13, from March 2nd, 2024. First time hosting for Sydney Sweeney. Has Kacey Musgraves been on the show before? I feel like she has.
She has. She's been on it twice, I believe. So this will be her third time.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So she was on the Owen Wilson episode, and
wow.
I believe I gotta look it up. I think it was like the Amy Schumer episode. But yeah, she's.
Yeah, I think that's what you said last week. I think Amy Schumer's name did come up last week. So
right. So Sydney Sweeney, hot new rising star. Of course, you'd recognize her, as she said in her monologue, from Euphoria and The White Lotus. You definitely wouldn't have seen her in Miss Madam Web.
Yeah, that was a good line. It's kind of funny how quickly she kind of had to pivot away for that. She was like, "I'm here to promote my new movie, Immaculate," and I looked it up. It's opening on the 22nd of March. So.
Yeah, I think they showed like commercials for it throughout the movie. It apparently seems like she plays a nun in a convent who somehow gets pregnant.
Unexpectedly pregnant. Yeah, I was curious, so I watched the trailer, and I'm like, oh, she's playing a nun, and yet she still apparently has a shower scene. Okay.
Yep. And the people who make the movie know what they're doing.
On brand for Sydney Sweeney, I guess.
Yeah, because I think that is the thing about her. Like people, I've seen some things with her in it, but like for most people who kind of know her a little bit better than I do, they say she is a very good actress. She's a solid actress.
I think she's been nominated for a few Emmys for Euphoria, if I remember correctly.
I think so. She is a very solid actress, and she also happens to be just drop dead gorgeous. And
stunningly attractive person. Yes.
Yeah, like almost like distractingly so. Like it distracts you from the fact that she can act.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, but
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it does seem like when somebody is that physically gorgeous, a lot of times they don't get appreciated for their talents.
Right. I think like Angelina Jolie probably had that problem back in the day.
Yeah, Margot Robbie, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bit of that going on too. So, I don't think I've seen Sydney Sweeney in enough stuff to like really judge her properly as an actress. I've never watched Euphoria.
Same.
So I don't know. I hear it's good. I know Zendaya won an Emmy or two for it. So
yeah, but either way, like she's definitely on the come up, and she's yeah, she's a lot of the young folks like her, so they're like, hey,
Hmm.
let's put her on SNL, see what she can
Yeah,
do. And
yeah.
yeah, I would say she's a pretty decent host.
Yeah, I'd say she did a good job. We'll
Yeah,
get into spoiler territory. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
she did not embarrass herself. It was not like Jacob Elordi levels
Ooh,
of why is this person here? So
yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, I do appreciate that they kept the wow, hey, isn't our host hot sketches to a minimum.
there seems to be some varied opinions on that. I saw a friend of mine. He sent me a piece from Vanity Fair this morning saying that they did too much of that.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I
Hmm.
mean,
I
look, we got it into a cheerleader outfit and a Hooters outfit, and there
Yeah,
were other boob jokes throughout, and so I see where they're coming from.
yeah, but I mean, I feel all right. The Hooters one, that's the one I was thinking. All right, so this sketch totally hinges on the fact that she's appealing. But like the
Yeah,
other, I think the other sketches, you can make the case that like the sketch doesn't hinge on her looks solely. I would
yeah,
think, but
yeah.
but
Um,
but either way, we'll talk about it. We'll talk
yeah,
about
it's funny. I noticed like a few minutes before we started recording, I was like, "Oh, Sydney Sweeney is trending." I guess it's because she hosted the show last night. And I clicked on her name just to see what people were saying, and it was almost all like gifs of her from the show because she wore like a few low cut tops throughout the evening, and they were all just like gifs of, "Oh, here's Sydney Sweeney bouncing."
it. Yeah,
Like, oh, never change, internet, never
never.
change.
Just oh dear.
So yeah, so people were enjoying her on different levels, I suppose.
Yes, we all had our different levels of enjoyment on that.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
should we get into it? Get
let's
into the show itself?
let's do it. Cold open. Boom.
All
Let's
right.
dive in.
Inside Politics cold open. We had Heidi as a host, a CNN host. I didn't write down the name. I'm assuming it's a real CNN host.
Dana
Uh,
Bash. Yes.
Dana Bash. Okay. And talking about kind of the one of the big stories out there now, and like people have a lot of concerns about Joe Biden's age.
Yes, they're concerned. He's in his 80s and
Yeah.
he's going up for re-election, and people are worried. But the people that Dana Bash has on the show are here to quell all the fears.
Right.
People, he's Joe is as vibrant and sharp as attack, and he can get the
He can
job
get
done.
it.
Get our
Yeah.
done. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
We have Michael Longfellow as Gavin Newsom. We have Ego as Press Secretary Karine Jean Pereira. Um,
We
I like her line. She said like, he was 30 when Roe v. Wade hit, so Biden was smashing.
yeah,
uh, the basic joke is yeah, people are just kind of going over the top, talking about how sharp and with it and vital and energetic he is. And
yeah.
I am seeing a fair amount of this in the media. They're really trying to pivot away from the story or counteract the story or however you want to phrase it.
Yeah, like I mean, I think people know like if they want to sell Biden as a viable candidate, which he is, like they
Yeah.
really have to like kind of quell people's fears about his age. Like, they also have like in the sketch, Marcelo as Alejandro Mayorkas talking about
Mhm.
how they went down to the border and like how he parkoured up the border wall, front flipped into the Rio Grande, and came up with a fish in his mouth.
Biden was in beast mode.
Beast mode, as the kids say.
Yeah. And then they had Devin come on as Draymond Green and saying like Biden dunked on me. Um, so some funny comedic exaggeration
Yeah,
throughout,
yeah.
and
Like he said, like, oh yeah, Draymond Green got so angry he tried to punch Biden in the nuts and he broke 3 fingers.
yeah, and he like pulls out his hand and he's got like three splints on his
Yeah,
fingers.
a lot of like Bill Brasky type of exaggeration throughout
Yeah,
the
kind
whole.
of. I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, that's a good point. And then
Joe
and then
Biden.
finally we have the host. She FaceTimes Biden, or actually, Michael Longfellow as Gavin Newsom FaceTimes Biden to like kind of prove how with it he is, because it's like, oh, these people are always saying like, oh, behind closed doors, yeah, he's great and he's so, he's the most energetic person in the room and all that. And then you like see Biden in a press conference and he's like, it's fair to say he's kind of like low energy, right?
Yeah, he is. He is, but that doesn't mean yeah.
But I mean, he still seems very with it mentally, which I think is the main thing. He's not, oh, let's say, forgetting who his wife is, forgetting who the president is, you know, uh, freezing and
Yeah,
staring into the distance in the middle of a speech.
yeah, or selling golden sneakers for to
Right,
people. Things like
right.
that.
Not on trial for rape.
Yeah,
Uh,
just
not have criminal charges pending.
for example.
Doesn't owe hundreds of millions of dollars in civil charges.
Yeah,
Just throwing out these examples off the top of my head.
yeah, exactly. But yeah. So they get Joe Biden to FaceTime, and of course we see Mikey Day as his Joe Biden. It's like, oh
Hmm.
hey there, Gavin. Let me just go ahead and turn up the volume up here on the phone. And he hangs up.
Yeah,
Hangs
he
up on him.
presses the wrong button and cuts off the call.
Yeah,
Papa. Um, Decent enough cold open.
decent enough. Kind of wish there was maybe a little bit of a stronger ending to it, but
Uh huh.
overall it was. I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, it maybe seemed a little anticlimactic at the end there.
Yeah, like it kind of almost reminded me of like remember the old Phil Hartman sketch when they had Phil Hartman play Ronald Reagan, and then they
Hmm.
had people kind of come in and like Ronald Reagan
Oh
would
yeah,
tell
the
him like,
Ronald Reagan mastermind.
yeah, Ronald Reagan mastermind, and he
Yeah,
would give the old Ronald Reagan persona like, hey there, youngster,
right.
and then of course when the people left, they'd be like, all right, let's get back to work, and then he like snap into like this,
Yeah, that almost seems to be like the image that they're trying to project of Biden right now. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
yeah, like I almost kind of wish they maybe went in that direction with this cold open, but I mean, but then again, maybe they people would have been like, oh, you're stealing from the Ronald Reagan
Yeah, I
mastermind
mean,
stuff, but
that might have seemed more just like straight up pimping for Biden.
oh
I
yeah.
think this was good, as just kind of satirizing how hard people are working to counter that. Did you see him on Seth Meyers' show this week?
Yeah, a little bit because like I know because Seth is like celebrating his like what 10-year anniversary,
Hmm.
and
Exactly.
like he
Yeah,
had
and so he had the guests from his very first show, and he had Amy Poehler and Joe Biden in that order again. Which,
damn.
I mean, it's pretty cool of the sitting president to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go second.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll play cleanup to
Yeah,
Amy. Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll
and
follow
and
that
he
up.
was a surprise guest from what I understand. So I don't think they
Oh,
announced him ahead of time.
that's
But I'm
crazy.
sorry, you were about to say something about how he was on the show. I think.
Uh, no, I forgot.
Okay.
But yeah, overall
Yeah,
decent
this is
enough.
why Darren's not up to the job anymore, people.
Yeah, sorry, I'm falling apart. But yeah, cold open, decent enough. I thought.
Hmm.
Not bad. I thought it was a step up from the Shane Gillis one for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This
Monologue.
episode was a step up from the Shane Gillis episode in many aspects.
I would agree with you, sir. I would say this
Yes.
was a step up from the Shane Gillis. Absolutely.
Next we have Sydney Sweeney's monologue. Comes out uh, in a white dress.
You know.
As she said before, she says, "Yeah, you've seen me in Euphoria and The White Lotus. You definitely did not see me in Madam Web."
Haha, that movie sucks.
I just it's just kind of hilarious how quickly that movie bombed.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and
like
and it's I mean pretty much everybody knew it was not going to do well. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure even when Dakota Johnson hosted a few weeks ago, she knew it was not going to do well.
yeah. Like I mean, I've seen people review it and they say like it's shockingly like it's almost campy good. Like
Yeah.
like camp because like it's that bad,
Hmm.
but it's like not really. But like a lot of
Yeah,
people say it's like amazingly, incredibly, shockingly bad.
I was hearing people it wasn't quite bad enough to really enjoy as a camp experience. It was just a bad movie. And
Yeah.
anyway,
So
we don't need to kick
Oof.
her while she's down and all that. I
Yeah,
just thought it was funny. She was kind of like pivoting to like, hey, but I've got this other movie coming up,
exactly.
Immaculate. Check that out,
This
folks.
will be good.
Yeah. Forget about that Madam Web thing over here that's, probably still in theaters, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not gonna look it up.
I don't know.
Let's say yes.
But I don't think I've heard anybody say a good thing about that film. And, that's got to be a little awkward where you're ostensibly promoting this movie still. And,
A
but
little bit. I think everybody's seen the writing on the wall. They're like, yeah,
yeah,
we know what's up.
probably even Sony is like, yeah, that's okay. We know it's bad.
It's cool.
So let's see. She mentioned that she's from Spokane. She mentioned that when she was first getting into acting, she had like a 5-point plan to uh, prove her worth to her family or make sure that it was a good plan. And it was like move to Los Angeles, get an agent, do this, do that, and then she showed the next slide from her PowerPoint presentation, and it was Plan B: show boobs.
Yep.
Um,
And here we are.
I don't know. That's on one hand she agreed to the joke. On the other hand, that's doing her a bit of a disservice, isn't it?
It is. It is a bit reductive. I will admit
Yeah.
it is. But yeah,
But on the other hand, she has done a fair amount of nudity, from what I understand,
she has.
and
She has. I mean, maybe
uh,
she's making fun of the people that are saying online that's how she got so popular. It's like, oh, she's only
right,
popular
right,
because she has a phenomenal rack and blah blah blah. Things like that.
right, right. It's just like, oh, 9 minutes in, got our first boob joke of the night.
There we go.
Probably not our last.
Ding.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
Then she also mentioned that little dust up she got about her Trump themed party for her mom.
was
Uh,
it actually Trump themed, or were people just like wearing Trump hats and
yeah,
stuff?
I mean, from what I saw, it was some pictures of on Instagram of her and her family at a barbecue, and yeah, some
Right,
people were wearing like Blue Lives Matter T-shirts and
right.
shit, but like
And
it wasn't
I
specifically MAGA shit,
right.
and like people just saw that and just kind of assumed like, oh, her family's MAGA, therefore she's MAGA, and that's a problem, and she had to like
Yeah.
fucking speak
Honestly, that
on.
was that was like a million years ago in internet time, so I was kind of surprised they even brought that up.
Yeah,
But
exactly. People kind of forgot about it.
yeah,
It was just like the hot button topic of the week.
right. It was like the scandal du jour, and then
Yeah,
after a couple days, people pretty much forgot about it and
yeah. They went on to.
moved on to the next outrage.
Yep, very much so.
She also mentioned, certain rumors about her, um, and like I know with her last movie or her last movie before Madam Web, I suppose, the Anyone But You, there were a lot of rumors that she and her co-star Glenn Powell were a, an actual couple, and she's like, no, no, I'm actually engaged, and my fiance is here in the audience tonight. And then they cut to the audience, and we just see Glenn Powell sitting there in the audience.
Yes, it's just a handsome, handsome man.
What is he famous for? I'm not really certain of this.
He's been in a few things. I guess if you want to point out one thing that kind of broke him, he was in the last Top Gun movie, Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, okay. No wonder I don't know him. Okay.
But yeah. Like since then, like his star has been kind of on the rise.
Uh huh.
He's gonna be in that upcoming Twister sequel.
All right.
Uh,
Okay.
Anyone But You. He's kind of been in.
Yeah, which I understand is done pretty well. So
Yeah. Let me look up his stuff
I
real
don't think
quick.
I realized that Sydney Sweeney was engaged.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
she kind of came out with that a while ago.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I don't generally follow celebrities dating lives, so
yeah.
if
Hey.
I'm more and more often surprised when I'm like, oh, this person's dating this person, oh, this person's married, or this person's engaged, because I just don't make any effort to keep track of it.
No, yeah. Some guy
Like I
locked.
find out about it when it's mentioned on an SNL monologue,
Like, oh,
basically.
okay. Yeah, like some guy locked that down real quick. It's like, oh, you're on the rise and you look like that. Will you marry me
Yeah,
right now,
yeah,
today?
yeah.
Gotta lock that in. Uh, but yeah, Glenn Powell. He was also in Hidden Figures. He was in the that movie Everybody Wants Some, the Richard Linklater
Okay.
film. He's been
Yeah. So
around.
nothing,
Yeah,
nothing I've really seen. So
yeah.
all right.
He's been in some things, but his star is like slowly on the rise. So I
Did you see Anyone But You?
I did not. No, I mean
Me neither.
I like an occasional rom com, but like I
Yeah,
don't
me too.
go like seeking it out. Like I saw the
Yeah.
trailers and I was like, this looks okay, I guess.
Yeah, I watched the trailers and I was like, I think I could give this a miss.
Yeah,
It just looked very typical formulaic rom com thing, and the trailer didn't really make me laugh.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It didn't really hook
so
me, so I was like,
yeah,
But like
but
Glenn Powell seems likable enough. I know a lot of people kind of want him to be in either in the MCU or the DCU as like because he's like good
uh-huh.
looking, charismatic, he's muscle bound. He could be like like Booster
Yeah,
Gold or something like that.
yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
So we'll see. But otherwise, not a bad monologue. Nice, short,
Decent
kind
enough
of.
monologue. Yeah, sure. She acquitted herself well.
Yeah,
Um,
that's okay.
all right. Our first sketch, detectives.
Mhm.
We got uh, a police, not precinct, not squad. Well,
Yeah,
a
precinct.
precinct, yeah. And they're like working on cold cases. Um, and they've got two new interns. There's Olivia and Kaya, and it's Sydney Sweeney and Chloe Feynman.
Right. And
And
yeah, and also side note, you'll see Chloe Feynman she got a lot of screen time this episode.
it was kind of a heavy episode for her. Yeah,
Yeah, like I looked it up. She was in like in 6 sketches. That's like wow.
that's a good week for Chloe Feynman, man.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, with this sketch, so the hook of it is, the cops are going over all these cold unsolved cases,
yeah,
and the interns are able to find the perpetrators almost instantly, like through Snapchat and Instagram and
yeah.
Facebook.
They're just because they're so chronically online, they know how to comb through somebody's social media for information. I mean, it's like Keenan gives the basics of the cases, and they're like, "Hey, we found him. We found him on Instagram." And they
Right.
say, "How did you do that?" And they say, "We're 22-year-old girls in situationships. Our screen time is 23 hours a day."
Yeah. I think at one point they talk about another guy that's missing, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Well, how old is he?" "Oh, he's in his 40s." I was like, "All right, Facebook." And then
Yeah,
then they go to Facebook to go to his mom's page because his Facebook page is private, and they scroll through his mom's Facebook page and they find him
because it's
with
public. Yeah,
yeah, it's public, and then they find a picture of him and his mom eating at a restaurant. It's like, all right, we found him.
yeah,
So like, I like the idea of it, like how
hmm,
everybody is kind of just on the grid now these days that anybody
yeah,
can be found with like little to no knowledge of the person.
yeah, yeah. It it is weird. It's like I don't know what. Like the other day, I was out and I bought I bought lunch somewhere and I got a receipt and I don't know why this thought I was just like, oh well, now I have an alibi for this time. If anybody's searching for me for my whereabouts of this night, I can prove that I was here.
The perfect crime.
And I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I was just trying to inject some excitement into a kind of dull evening or something. But
I like that, man. See, use your imagination.
no, no, officers, I was at Chipotle at 9 p.m.
He's right. He's got an alibi. Let him go, Tompkins.
Yeah.
All right, all right, Trumbull. You're clean this time, but you watch your
Oh,
step.
yes, officer.
We'll be
Um,
watching you.
I there were some nice touches in there. I liked how they gave how Keenan's character is like the captain or lieutenant. He kept describing it, every victim as very attractive,
Yeah.
and at one point the detectives are like, "You don't have to describe every victim as attractive."
It's like, oh,
And like,
yeah.
yeah, and when Heidi walks in, he's like, "Oh my goodness, it's a very attractive, fully clothed woman."
Yeah, so then
um,
Heidi comes in, her husband is missing. They
yeah,
find him immediately. He's on Love is Blind.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, why does this keep happening?
Yeah, and I liked they had little asides. I liked that James Austin Johnson's character tried talking in this slang that the young girls were using, and Keenan's like, you don't have to talk like that, and James is like, oh thank God. Um,
Mhm.
I liked how Mikey was horrified that you can take screenshots on Snapchat, and he's like, I have to go.
That's why I never joined Snapchat. I knew it was a trap.
Yeah, and I liked the little aside that Ego's character is taking the same BuzzFeed quiz, and she's like, "Why did I get matched with Andy Cohen? Don't get me wrong, I don't mind that. I like a little fruit in my salad, but
Yeah, I was like, wow.
it was, this was cute.
Yeah,
This was cute, and then at the very end, they find Keenan's OnlyFans.
yeah, with the badges on his nips.
Yeah, and he's the captain, and I like that they made him look significantly younger and skinnier too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm
Those
assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming that's because that's what he would do, the captain.
Yeah, it was good attention to detail. Yeah, it's either implying that he's had it for a while or that he's trying to put his best foot forward, I suppose.
Yeah, but yeah, solid sketch. I thought this
Hmm.
one was all right.
It was cute.
Yeah. It's like, all right, we're off to a good start. Okay,
Hmm.
SNL, I see you.
Yeah. Next we have Please Don't Destroy. Gone too soon. See, it feels like the Please Don't Destroy boys have been gone for a little while, right?
It really does. Like, I feel like, I mean, I know they had a sketch ready to go for the Ayo Debris one, but that got cut because I guess
Hmm.
for time. But yeah, like, when was the last? I guess the last time we saw them was with the Dakota Johnson episode, right?
Yeah. It seems like too long. Seems like
Yeah,
too
it's
long.
only been
Yeah.
2 episodes. It's only been like a couple weeks, but it feels like an eternity.
Yeah. Yeah. When they're gone, I miss them.
I know. I miss you when you were
Yeah.
away.
Man, I miss your musk.
Oh God! And when this is over, you and me should get an apartment together.
Thank you for catching the Anchorman reference.
Of course.
Yeah,
Got too many
I know.
thoughts up in the old
You know,
skull there.
the other day I watched their podcast with Mike Birbiglia because I was like, I just want to see the Please Don't Destroy boys. I haven't seen them on SNL in a while, and
Yeah,
I miss them.
I miss them. I miss us.
Yeah. Anyway, Please Don't Destroy SNL writing night. Um, Sydney Sweeney comes in and they're all really down. They're depressed that one of their friends just passed.
Right. Then Sydney asked him, "Well, how did he pass?" And he said, "Well, this might sound crazy, but it's not funny. He was visiting Arizona, and a donkey kicked him so hard in the nuts that he fell into the Grand Canyon."
Yeah, yeah.
And she's
And
like,
he's like,
"Are you serious?"
yeah. Is that for real?
Yeah, and then
And
he's like, "Yeah, and this has also happened. It's not funny. Don't laugh." But he was also wearing roller skates, so he like grinded down the Grand Canyon, and as he fell, and
yeah,
then he
yeah, he
like,
shredded the Grand Canyon like a half pipe.
yeah, and then he skadooshed on a fat guy's stomach like a Kung Fu Panda and exploded.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then,
his name was Reverend Butt Cheek P. Rosenthal.
and the P stands for penis, right?
They're like, no, no, don't be silly. It stands for Pachina.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's dubious at best. And then they show her a video of the incident, and we don't see the video, but we see her reacting to the video, and they also have pop-ups of the comments, and I love that the comments on the video are like Joe Biden, Malaya, Pope Francis.
Yes.
That was a nice touch.
Homie died like a Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, yeah. And he was they reveal that he was like Chef Boyardee's son, I think.
Yes, exactly. And then Chef Boyardee pops his head in, and then
Yeah.
apparently the whole thing is just an ad for Chef Boyardee for
For
life.
life's toughest moments.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Um.
decent Please Don't Destroy. I don't think it was their best, but
Yeah. Dec-
enjoyable.
Enjoyable, decent. Definitely not their best. They kind of did that thing that we've talked about in the podcast that I'm not a big fan of, when they don't know how to end a sketch, they just make it a fake commercial for something else
Yeah,
entirely.
that has become a bit too much of a go-to for SNL, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crutch, and I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing here. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't know how to end it, so it's an ad for Chef Boyardee. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to say SNL should only do that trick, say, once a season. Um,
Yeah.
I think the best time they ever did it was that sketch with The Rock and the Most Evil Invention, and it turned out to be a White Castle commercial.
Yes, that I will forgive it for, just because that sketch was so.
That sketch is perfection from beginning to end.
Yeah, that shit is so outrageous. Yes, I will. I will let that slide.
Yes.
But yeah, but this sketch, yeah, decent enough, but definitely
Hmm.
PDD's definitely done better.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, don't dislike it in any regard, but when we're talking about the greatest Please Don't Destroy sketches ever, I don't think that's necessarily going to be there.
No.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely
it's no Dakota Johnson,
not. Woo!
Nepo baby rings.
Yes. Nepo truce.
Yeah,
Nepo
Nepo
truce.
truce, foot in the door, and so much more.
That's oh god, that still makes me laugh. Still,
Yeah, yeah.
still.
Um.
Um,
So next, we got Airbud.
Airbud.
Airbud. You ever seen any of the Airbud movies? I have not.
I have not, and it shocks me that this movie still has like the lasting power that it does. Like people are like they did the sketch in 2024, then people still
Hmm.
understand the reference. They still get it.
Well, I think it's one of those things that people have a lot of nostalgia for because they watched one or more of those movies as kids,
Yeah,
and those movies started in sometime in the '90s, I think. So I was already an adult at that point, so I really had no reason to watch the Air Bud movies.
yeah.
Um,
You're a
but
grown
I'm
ass man.
but I'm aware of the basic thing. Dog playing basketball. Nothing in the rule book saying he can't play basketball.
Yeah,
Hijinks ensue.
yeah. First Airbud came out in '97, and it's
97. I would have guessed earlier, but okay,
yeah,
97. So that dog 100% dead now.
yeah. Oh God, why would you? I mean, yes, but
I'm
oh
just
my
I'm
God,
just keeping it real, son.
damn. All right, homie. Wow, it's cold blooded.
Check it and see. Um, so yeah, so Sydney Sweeney, she's playing the head cheerleader. She's back from vacation, and her friends are saying like, "Hey, you need to." But yeah, while you were gone, there was a new person who started the basketball team, and he turned the game around, and he's amazing, and he's incredible, and you should check him out.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh well, there's a new star basketball player, and I'm not dating him yet. I've got to go hit on him." Toot sweet.
Yes.
So
And it turns out that new player is a dog by the name of Airbud.
it is an earbud. Is this now? I noticed that the team are the Timberwolves. Is that the name of the team from the Airbud movies? I didn't double check this.
Ooh, that is a good point. I
I'm,
don't
I'm
think
going to
of
give
it.
that a quick Google because now
Okay,
I'm curious.
okay, but yeah,
It
yes.
is okay. There is an Airbud wiki, and it is Fernfield High School, and they were the Fernfield Timberwolves. And from the pictures I'm seeing, the SNL art department apparently matched the uniforms pretty well.
Oh shit! All right.
So this is accurate to the Airbud canon.
Yes, it is Airbud canon. The accuracy
Yes.
is there. So all you Airbud heads, don't come, don't come complaining to SNL. They stuck to the story. They stuck to the lore
There
of
has to
Airbud.
be someone out there who's like this big Airbud continuity buff, right?
Yeah, like actually, Airbud would not eat a sandwich like that, like you portray him in the sketch, sir. Well, I hope someone was fired for that blunder.
Yeah. I'm really curious how many Airbud movies there are now.
I think there was like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
that,
when
that sounds about right.
yeah, I mean like when your star is a dog, you don't have to pay a lot of money for for like
Yeah. Yeah, they're cheap, they could turn them around pretty quickly.
yeah you can yeah
Holy crap,
exactly.
Michael Jeter was in an Airbud movie?
Who
Michael Jeter.
like Derek's brother?
No. No, the Broadway actor, and I'll explain who he is later.
Okay. All
Anyway,
right. Airbud sketch. Airbud sketch. But yeah.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
the rest of the sketch is basically Sydney Sweeney hitting on a dog, an actual dog, in the sketch, saying,
Hmm.
"Oh, hey, that's a cool tongue you got there. Oh, you're so hairy. You
Yeah,
Italian?" And
yeah,
it's like it's
yeah.
basically Sydney anchoring the sketch, which shows a lot of confidence in the show to
Sydney
have
and
her
the
do that.
dog. Let's give the
And
dog credit too.
you know what? I apologize, Sydney and the dog anchoring the
That
sketch.
dog was doing a hell of a job. He's a very, very good dog. He was staring dead into the camera, and it made it much funnier.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like because this sketch has a dog in it, knowing you the way I know you, you're gonna give
Yeah.
this sketch extra points, bonus points.
Look, I am always, always, always happy to see a dog pop up on an SNL sketch. Yes, I will. I will give SNL sketches with dogs extra points. Yes,
Right.
100%. I'm an
But yeah,
easy mark. I mean, look, yeah.
but
I
dogs in
mean,
a
you
sketch.
could, yeah. Like the trivia night that I co-host sometimes. It's at a venue, the Glenbrook Brewery over in Morristown, New Jersey. Come by Wednesday nights.
Hey.
Um, People are allowed to bring their dogs in, and it is so much fun when I'm hosting and people have their dogs there because then
Aw.
I get to pet some dogs and make some friends with new dogs. It's so much
Yay.
fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely. But yeah, so that's. I mean, there isn't too much to this sketch. It's just like
yeah,
Sydney hitting on the dog,
hmm
um, and then of course the two other basketball players on the side, Marcelo
yeah,
and Dismuke, saying, "Hey, you know that's a dog, right?"
yeah, yeah. And she
And
doesn't care because
yes, exactly. She's like, "Yeah,
she's not
whatever."
shallow like that. She's not about a surface appearances. She's like, oh, you're very hairy. Are you Italian?
Exactly.
Um, and Marcelo like feeds the dog a sandwich at one point. And did you notice that Dismukes was also holding a sandwich?
No, I don't. I think I missed that.
He's holding like half a sub. He's got a grinder in one of his hands, and I'm like, was Dismute supposed to feed the dog a sandwich too? Was that like a spare sandwich in case something happened with the first one?
Oh,
I'm just like, why is he holding a sandwich? I want to know the full sandwich story.
wow! I didn't even notice that.
Basically, I want an oral history of this sketch
Oh
for
God.
for Vulture or something.
Yes, break it down for us, people.
Yeah,
We want the deets.
yeah. Um,
But
but
yeah,
cute enough,
cute
cute enough.
enough. Yeah, and at the end, of course, we see Mikey Day coming in as
Hmm.
Airbud's owner, saying, "Hey, come on, boy, we're gonna go, and hey, your girlfriend's out there waiting for you." And we see that Airbud does have a girlfriend, and
Yeah.
Sydney Sweetie is all upset, saying, "Oh my God, were you ever gonna tell me about your slut bitch of a
Yeah,
of a
yeah, she
girl?"
gets jealous and leaves. And she's like, and by the way, I'm flexible on condoms.
Yeah, not that you'll ever find out.
Yeah, and then it had a nice button at the end where Echo comes by and she's like, I'm not flexible on condoms. In fact, I will force you not to use one.
Yes, I'd never let. So yes, and nice little
Yeah,
bestiality joke there for everybody.
yeah. Um, but I liked it. It was fun and bizarre, and again, the way that dog just staring dead into the camera, it tickled me.
Yeah, yeah. So this one was I thought this was a fun one. I thought it was okay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
not bad. Like I think again, like it shows a lot of confidence in the show to have the first time guest and the dog anchor
Hmm.
this sketch, and I think for the most part she got there. And
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, Airbud is perfect, no notes.
Yes, yes.
Let's
So
go
next we have Big Bench.
big
Um,
bench.
Big Bench. Joke here is we've got Ego as Judge Carlotta, and they're like, what's better than one badass judge? What about three judges? No, seven. No, 10. No, 17. And yeah, it's a judge show where the gimmick is we've got 17 judges. Is there a show like that now with like multiple judges?
Kind of. There is a show. I think it's still on. It's a cooking show called Wall of Chefs. Like
Okay,
my wife is really into it, where it's like
but
basically
that's chefs.
yeah, but like so basically they have two like amateur cooks prepare something, and then they have to be judged by the wall of chefs
Uh huh.
and see which dish is the best. And it's like literally like 12 chefs judge the
Okay.
person. So that's I mean that's kind of when I saw the sketch, that's what I thought they were basing it on.
Okay, and unless it's unanimous, like that, they don't.
Yeah, I believe that's it. But yeah,
Okay.
Wall of Chefs, so like on the Food Network.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I was just curious if there was like a multiple judge show like this, but yeah.
I don't believe so. I think there might be a
Okay.
show where there's like three different judges,
Uh huh.
but not like 12 or 17 like they have here. So maybe they just
Yeah.
took that three judge show idea and just expounded on it.
Escalated to the point of comic absurdity.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This sketch I thought was kind of the weakest one of the night, I think.
Yeah, didn't like this one. Didn't
Uh,
care for this one.
yeah, I mean, just basically because it seemed like they were kind of trying to do two different things because they were introducing each judge like, oh,
Hmm.
he's the cute one, he's the
Right,
pervert judge, he's the gay one. This one
right.
is Judge Judy's niece, and but then they were also going back to the case
The
they were
case.
working on, so they were kind of like
Okay.
bouncing back and forth between these two kind of premises.
Right, splitting the focus a bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get that. I get that. You know, I found interesting that Marcelo, his character, they say like we had Judge Hunk, and then we had Marcelo. He's like, you know, and he's hunky and Latino, and his character's name was also Alejandro. So I was like, we have Marcelo playing two different people named Alejandro tonight.
yeah, like there's more Latino names, guys.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what this means, but I feel like this means something.
Yeah, Guzman. There you go. Did you do that?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Fernandez. There's like two. Boom, two right there.
And then because they're blatantly trying to curry my favor, we also have a dog judge, Judge Wolf.
Oh boy. All right. So this is a 5-star sketch for.
5 stars. No, again, I thought it was just okay. I thought it was, you know, I thought having the dog judge was amusing. But then, of course, when they show the graphics at the beginning and the end with like the 17 judges, we don't include the dog judge. I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah, disgusting.
Um,
Uh,
I did like at one point when you know they have all the judges like putting their hands up. They put like some fake dog hands up in front of the dog.
oh yeah, all right, that was cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cute. But then then they go and they kind of preside over the case. Like
mhm,
they hold up signs saying if they think they're guilty or not.
right.
We didn't even talk about the case. So yeah, so it's basically I'm not even sure what happened in the case. So it's like Sydney
She said
Sweeney.
like Sydney Sweeney. She and James Leslie Johnson. They're playing like this sort of white trash couple, and she's like, the defendant stole my heart and then also my credit cards or identity. I mean, the case doesn't really matter.
It really doesn't.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. So then it ends with them holding up signs saying guilty, guilty. Then somebody says Chipotle,
Chipotle.
and then
Yeah,
somebody else says Panera, and then
right,
Ego's like, "Oh, I guess we're ordering lunch now."
right.
I was like, all right." And then it ends with this them doing the wave.
Yeah, yeah, and that's when we have the fake dog paws.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I wasn't too wild about this one. I thought, did
Yeah, neither was I. I was like, you know, but I didn't hate it. It was fine. It was just a middle of the road SNL sketch, and that's pretty much all I can say about it.
yeah, I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah,
It was like, this
you
wasn't.
know, in the grand canon of SNL sketches with like a mob of people, and we're introducing them throughout the sketch. It's no like you know Beethoven introducing the band.
Oh, there you go. Very true.
Remember that
Yes, yes, I do remember
Al
that.
the Hitman Hitler? Yeah.
Oh God, like part of me thought like they would do a thing where they would take so long to introduce each judge that they wouldn't even have time to get to the case. Like I thought, oh,
Right.
maybe that would have been a little bit more
Yeah, that would be
clear.
a way to go. I mean, of course, you know, we still have to get the host in there somewhere. So,
Yeah, that's true. All right, but
yeah,
yeah, this sketch was like kind of a miss for me.
yeah, I get that. I get
Okay.
that.
Next up, we got another pre-tape. We got Bowen Straight.
Yeah.
Uh,
Another behind the scenes at SNL because we just didn't get enough of that from Please Don't Destroy.
yeah. Oh, and we have writing credits for this one. It's Richardson, Stephen, White, and Yang.
Ooh, Bowen Yang had a hand in writing a sketch that heavily features Bowen Yang. Wow,
Shocker, shocker.
shocker. So we got Sydney backstage with ladies of SNL. We got Heidi and Ego, and she's like, "Guys, I've got a confession to make. I have a bit of a crush on Bowen." And they're like, "Oh, well, you know, you should go for it." And Sydney's like, "What? Isn't he gay?" And they're like, "Oh, no, no, no. He just plays gay on the show because it's such a shortcut to get laughs."
Which is such a crazy premise. I also liked the one thing in the beginning of the sketch. Sydney
Hmm.
says, "Oh, I have a crush on somebody at the show," and then Edgar says, "Oh, who is it? Lenny Pickett."
Yeah,
Shout out to Lenny Pickett. I love that name.
yeah, yeah. I love that Lenny is their go-to.
Is it Lenny Pickett?
He's the most crushable kind
Mm-mm.
of show. By the way, this is a divergence, but have you ever seen? that clip from Seth Meyers where Jennifer Lawrence tells the story about how she got a crush on Seth Meyers when she was hosting SNL.
I think I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she confessed it to like her makeup artist, and the makeup artist was like, "Oh no, honey, he's engaged,"
Oh boy.
and and Jennifer Lawrence was like, "Oh, good talk," because and she was like embarrassed because like she was like, "I built up this entire relationship in my head."
Yeah, it's weird. Like, didn't somebody else confess to Jimmy Fallon on his show that they had a crush on him? I think it was.
There's a famous clip from Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show where he had basically a blind date with Nicole Kidman. Like a mutual friend brought Nicole Kidman over to introduce her to Jimmy Fallon, and I think Jimmy Fallon didn't really realize it was a setup,
Oh
and
boy.
he did not impress Nicole Kidman because he's like just this young clueless bachelor, and he's like playing video games, and he like puts out this pathetic display of cheese and crackers because I think that was all he had.
Youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah, and Nicole Kidman tells the story on her show, and Jimmy Fallon is like, "Oh my God, no, I had no idea," and
Oh,
he's
oh my god, that's great. I totally didn't know. Oh my god.
well, he's. I'll just say this: like, if you compare those two clips, Seth Meyers he handles it much better than Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is like, "Oh no," and he's like almost beating himself up, and I'm like, "Dude, you're married with two daughters, I think.
Yeah, like your wife might.
Maybe dial us back a bit."
Yeah.
And Seth Meyers just handles it beautifully. He's just like he's just amused by it, and maybe a little flattered by it, but he's just having fun with the anecdote, and
Right.
Jimmy Fallon is just
Oh god,
he comes off more like oh my god, I've made a horrible mistake in my life.
the life I could have had. Oh no.
Yeah,
I've ruined everything. Oh god.
yeah. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, Heidi and Ego are like, oh no, Sydney Sweeney, but Bowen hooks up with tons of straight women. Bowen pools, which I've not heard that term before, but very funny. Um, we have a Gina Gershon cameo.
Yeah, because like we see Bowen walk over to Gina Gershon and just heavily
Yeah,
making out with her, and yeah, apparently Bowen's straight. Which is such an interesting premise for a sketch. Like, part of me thinks that maybe they got the idea online somewhere, where maybe some weird conspiracy theorist was like, "I heard Bowen's not even gay. He's just playing it just to get laughs on the show because it's like an easy way, and like it's all a fake, it's all a ruse." And like maybe they pulled that and was like, "Oh, that'd be a good idea for a sketch," and like that's how we got this.
I don't know. Is
It might
are
be.
there Bowen Yang truthers out there?
It might be. It's not the least insane thing I've seen on the internet.
No, I'm not really doubting this. I think it's amusing that we have Gina Gershon once again making a cameo on SNL. I remember she made a cameo in a Ladies Man sketch
Oh
ages
yeah.
ago, like back in the day, where it was like Ladies Man was uh, showing off his ladies, and it was like Sarah Michelle Gellar, Gina Gershon, and Florence Henderson.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think maybe Sarah Michelle Gellar was hosting that week.
Uh,
I know Gina Gershon wasn't. I don't think she's ever hosted the show, as far as I know.
yeah.
But
Why don't they let her host? That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. But
Uh,
oh no, okay. Apparently, no. This was from the the May 20th, 2000 episode with host Jackie Chan, musical guest Kid Rock, and it was a ladies'
oh
man
god.
sketch. So it was Sarah Michelle Gellar, Gina Gershon, and Florence Henderson.
Wow. What a lineup.
Yeah, and that was the cold open. Wow. It's SNL Wiki says this was likely a send off to Meadows, who left the show at the end of the season. So
Oh. Okay. R.I.P. All right. No, he's not dead. But
he's still alive.
he's
He's
still alive.
still alive.
He's alive to me, damn it.
But
Uh,
yeah, no, I guess Gina Gershon. I guess she lives in the city or something. So
I guess so.
hmm.
But yeah. So then we cut to Sydney shooting her shot at
Hmm.
Bowen, as while she gets pitched an idea for a sketch by Mikey, Sydney Sweeney
Yeah,
Todd. Uh,
yeah. He's like, it'll be funny when we do it.
I love.
Which I'm sure they've given that reassurance to many a host.
Right. So yeah. So then Sydney's like, "Oh, I know you're straight," and then the two of them get close, and
Hmm.
I think she says like, "What type of girls are you into?" He says, smart, funny, heavy naturals.
He says blonde, smart, heavy naturals. Yeah. And he says, what's your type? She says, gay presenting Asian podcasters.
Wow.
So match made in heaven. And
Hmm.
yeah, so they hook up. They have like a passionate embrace. They hook up in an office. I'm assuming it's Lauren's office because we see like the note cards on the bulletin board
Yeah,
behind them.
yeah. Part of me, I almost wanted to like stop and pause to see if I could like squint and see if
Hmm.
I could maybe see who was going to be like future like host of the show. Like, if those were if that was like the actual note board about like who's going to be hosting in the
Right.
future. But then I was like, no, that's
Oh,
ridiculous.
looking for clues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I was like, no, that's ridiculous. They wouldn't do that.
I didn't think to do that. That's funny. I thought you were like looking for clues. That was really Lauren's office.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But yeah, so then they hook up, they make passionate love, and of
mhm.
course, like as soon as they're done, Bowen's like very indifferent to her. He's playing video games, saying like, "Hey, I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't get involved with anybody right now."
Yeah,
And then of course, he blows her off, saying like, "Hey, I can't. Just let's lay off, man. I got to go to Paris." And then he leaves and
yeah.
goes to Paris with two other women in a
In a
helicopter.
helicopter. Yeah,
Yeah,
so the helicopter comes to 30 Rock, and he just takes off in the helicopter. I don't know. Is he taking the helicopter to Paris? Is the helicopter flying him to the airport? It's unclear.
very yeah. And then of course is Sydney's heartbroken. Heidi's like, "Hey, sometimes you gotta learn these things on your own, mama." And
Yeah,
Sydney's like, "Well, I guess I'll never find true love."
yeah,
Marcelo comes in with flowers, saying, "Hey, never say never," and they both scream at Marcelo to get the hell out.
yes,
Like, "Get out of here, you!"
yeah. This
Solid.
was cute.
Yeah, I dug
Yeah,
this sketch. Pretty solid.
yeah. This might be my sketch of the week. I think.
Um, yeah, maybe. I wouldn't be mad at it. I definitely got a kick out of the sketch.
Hmm.
Like the premise of Bowie actually being straight and playing gay for laughs, or it's a
Right.
shortcut to laughs. Uh, Interesting premise, and
Uh huh.
it's pretty solid execution. Like, maybe part of me hoped they would have gone a little bit longer and farther with it, but
Hmm.
overall, I like the sketch. I like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Funny. Didn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah,
Well
yeah.
performed.
Yeah. Next up, makeup artists.
Makeup artists. This was interesting. We've got a wedding. We've got Heidi as the bride, Jules, and we got Sydney Sweeney and Sarah as the ladies who did her makeup. And they're just waiting in the room. Where the bridesmaids are getting ready, and they've just done the bride's makeup.
Yeah, she looks
And
beautiful.
then,
She looks like Princess Di before.
yeah, I heard that, and I was like, okay, Sarah had a hand in writing this sketch. I'm sure. I am sure that's a Sarah Sherman line. Um, and then Chloe Trost comes in, and she's like, "Oh, your groom, uh, he left this note, and he's left her at the altar."
Yeah,
And so Heidi starts, sobbing, and
and the
Sydney and Sarah are just like, "Oh yeah, can you go ahead and Venmo us? Because we found that if you don't pay us right away, we don't get paid."
yeah, and then of course Chloe's like, "But didn't we already pay you beforehand?"
Yeah,
And she checks her phone. It's like, "Oh, you did." And of course that starts a runner of I guess their catchphrase where they're like, "Oh, shoot, 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 shoot,
yeah, yeah.
shoot."
Yeah, and they have other requests while the bride is in crisis. They're like, hey, can you go ahead and get us a review on our Yelp? Um, and it escalates a bit where Julie says like, oh, and to top it off, I'm 2 months pregnant. Um, and
Shoot,
and then
shoot,
they're
shoot,
like,
shoot.
hey, we need a pic for our website. 'Cause I like this underrated line. They said we got thrown off Instagram for commenting snitch on all of Leia Remini's posts.
That was a good line. I did like that.
That was hilarious. I just a nice bizarre detail. I'm like, okay, are they Scientologists? Do they just are they,
I don't know.
I just enjoyed that. That was very funny.
Yeah. Maybe they just hate
Um,
snitches in all forms.
maybe
Yeah, and then it kind of peters out. It ends on the hairstylist saying, "Oh, maybe I could hook you up with my brother. He's
Hmm.
single. He gets out of the halfway house in April." And
Yeah,
yes, then the bride's like, "Oh yeah, maybe I could date again. Maybe that'd be all right." And then they're
yeah,
both like, "Oh, shoot, 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 shoot. He actually hates pregnant women."
yeah,
And they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, shoot, 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 shoot."
yeah.
Not a bad sketch. I
Uh, it didn't send me in a big way. I don't know. I just didn't really engage with the characters in a big way. It was. I think I find the idea of it funnier than I found the execution of
Yeah, I feel like this was like one rewrite away from being pretty good.
it.
But so far
Yeah.
so far it's just kind of landed on okay. Like, but there's enough good stuff in there that I liked it, but I was like, this feels like this could have been a lot better. But time constraints. You gotta go with what you got
Hmm.
on the when Saturday comes. But I thought it was all
Show
right.
doesn't go on because it's ready. Show goes on because it's 11:30.
Yes, but yeah, I didn't have much to say about the sketch. Like, I thought it was okay, but like, I feel like it was close to being like better than it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Next up, we got our musical guest, Casey Musgraves. Came out with two
Hmm.
songs, "Deeper Well" and "Too Good to Be True." Um, I did not write
Yeah.
a lot for this.
Um. I think she has a really great voice. It was the first song, "The Deeper Well," was very gentle and soothing. I was confused why she was barefoot and wearing an old comforter, but
Yeah, she just got
I
out
am
of
not
bed.
here to judge.
You just rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have. The songs sounded
Yeah.
nice, pleasant folk music.
Hmm.
Uh,
I like the second song a lot better. The
yeah,
"Too Good to Be True." That was catchier. If it were up to me, I would have reversed the order of those two
yeah,
because the first one was a little more ballady. But
yeah. I mean, they both sounded kind of like slow, and they sounded like
hmm.
songs you'd hear at a Home Goods when you're there shopping in autumn.
Yeah, just kind of mellow and
Yeah,
yeah,
like apple picking
so,
songs.
something Barnes and Noble would put on between the Nora Jones albums.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Bam, you nailed it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
something a barista or barista would play whilst making
Hmm.
your frap.
I spun many of those albums while I was working at the Barnes and Noble music department back in
Ooh.
the day.
Did you ever get wild and like put on like a Frank Zappa just to shake shit up?
Well, no, we couldn't. We couldn't
Oh,
just play anything. We had like a designated list, and
oh,
they would like send us things, and it'd be like, you can play this and this and this, and it was totally up to us what we played off of that list, and
oh,
we tended to just play the good ones, and if something was bad, we wouldn't play it too much.
oh. You should have gone off the
And
rails and like you know stuck a middle finger to the establishment and put like Black Flag or something, or
yeah,
like Megadeth. That would have been awesome. I
yeah.
walk into a Barnes and Noble and it's like, "For who the bell tolls." I was like, "Oh Jesus!" I'm about to, this, this Barnes and Noble rocks.
Honestly, I don't like it too much when stores play music. I find it distracting. I much prefer the quiet personally, but
Yeah, I get it, but I guess they just got to put on some music to, I don't
yeah,
know, set an atmosphere, set some tone for the store.
yeah. There's just I guess they have research or something that shows that people prefer it, but I
Read your shows. People buy books when they hear Nora Jones. So,
yeah, well, I guess
yeah.
so.
So pump up that Vanessa Carlton, and just people go buy these how-to books.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I didn't have too many notes. I thought both songs were pleasant, nice, soothing, lovely.
Hmm.
They were lovely.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right, so weekend update. Colin
Weekend
Jost,
update.
Michael Che.
Michael Che. That's the other. That was going to bug me.
I got you,
Right.
man. I got you.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, what are we reporting on this week? We're talking about Biden and Trump were both coincidentally at the Texas border.
Hmm.
around Thursday of this week. They showed
What?
a clip I had not seen of like Trump waving to migrants across the. That clip was fucking insane.
It real. We live in
That
insane.
man is not well,
No,
man.
he's not. No, very much not so.
Yeah,
The man is mentally ill.
yeah,
Yet here
he
we
is.
are.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, they showed that. They talked about Mitch McConnell stepping down at the
I
end of.
wish they'd gone at Mitch McConnell a little harder, honestly.
Yeah, I mean they did with this whole thing of like they had that runner of like they showed a picture of him smiling and it's like Mitch McConnell here, just getting out of seeing 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah,
McConnell,
yeah.
yeah,
They find a picture of him with a goofy grin, and then they, come up with something heinous that he's amused by.
right.
But they always do that with Mitch McConnell. I wanted to see them go a little harder because he's just such a fucking demon.
Yeah,
But
they kind of should have gone a little bit harder more on him about his horrible, horrible. But then again, see, I don't know. Part of me thinks this is kind of one of the weaknesses in the writing staff right now. I think they need somebody who knows the political landscape a lot more because like a lot
mhm.
of the political jokes they tell on the shows kind of seem kind of surface level, like
Uh
mostly
huh.
about the looks and like
Are you talking about Update or SNL in general?
I would say well, both SNL in general and the update. Like
Okay.
I would like it if they got somebody who's a lot more politically minded and can write jokes, like Jim Downey used to do. Like,
Yeah, I was just going to bring up Jim Downey's name. He was just on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and
ooh,
great interview, by the way.
yeah,
Definitely listen to that if you haven't listened to that already,
yeah,
because he's just a fount of information about his time on SNL.
yeah, absolutely. But like, if they got somebody who was like more politically minded, who could like
Hmm.
really dig in deep on what the these politicians have done, like as far as
Yeah,
legislature goes and stuff that actually affects us, the common folks, like they could like hit a little bit harder and dig a little bit deeper rather than the surface level. Oh, he's old and mean type of jokes.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
old and
I
crazy.
agree. I
Like,
agree. I would like to see more political minded jokes, and I feel that that is maybe a bit of a lack in the writers' room right now.
yeah, yeah. But that's just my 2 cents. What do I know?
Yeah.
Uh,
What do you know? You've just been podcasting about SNL for 5 years.
yeah, in my closet. What do I know?
You haven't been in your closet all that time.
That's that's right. It's
And by the way, we're not talking about Darren being secretly gay or anything in the closet. No, he podcasts from a literal closet.
that's right. I do it for you,
Yeah.
listeners. So leave it a review. God damn it.
Yes. Yes. Please rate and review.
Yeah.
Uh
There were some other jokes there. I did like the South Korea joke that Che had about
huh.
how South Korea has the lowest birth rate despite the efforts of famous South Korean entertainer Nick Can-un. It was dumb enough to make me laugh.
Yeah. It's dumb but cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
and I
Um.
did like that joke about they had about Flacco the owl
Hmm.
who escaped from Central Park Zoo and died after flying into a building, and his last thoughts were, "Oh, cool, another owl."
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
oddly enough that comes back in a future sketch, which I didn't
We
expect.
had a second Flacco reference. Yes.
Which that surprised me. I was like, oh, two Flacco references. All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, just as
Two Flacco references, uh, two of Marcelo playing an Alejandro, and all the Sydney Sweeney boob jokes you could ever hope for.
that's right. Rule of twos.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, two Flacos, two
Uh,
Alejandros.
yeah, no, we got it. We
Okay.
got it. You don't
Did you?
you don't have to
Do you
you
mean?
don't have to explain it further. No, that's okay.
Cause,
That's okay. I don't want us to get canceled.
okay, got it. All right, got it.
Yeah, leave it unsaid.
Done. But yeah, overall the jokes I thought were okay. In this
Hmm.
this iteration of the show.
I like to, Che's joke about, Nikki Haley, how, people are clamoring for her to drop out because, like, these dishes are stacking up in the sink.
Yeah, Che.
I like how Che is just like, I am always going to tell these blatantly sexist jokes, ironically. And, that's just like one of his runners.
Yeah,
It's,
just women belong.
I just find it amusing.
Women belong in the kitchen. Michael Che.
Yeah. Yeah. Like at one point, like he started doing the setup of the joke, and it was getting an applause, and then he gets to the punchline, and then afterwards, Joe's just like, "You, hey, remember how you applauded at the first part?
Like as soon as they applauded, I was like, "What are you doing?
You
Don't
know he's going to say something heinous
you know
next.
what
You know,
you is this your first time at the show? Like
yeah,
something horrible is going to come right around the corner."
right, right,
And sure enough.
yeah."
Yeah.
Um, had a couple desk pieces. We had Heidi as a woman who is aging gracefully, because God forbid we give a recurring character a name. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just give her a name. Claire. There, boom.
yeah,
Guzman.
yeah, call her Claire, and then give her the character traits. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
You can still put the character traits in the intro,
So we
but
could,
give her a name. Give us a Roseanne Rosanna.
yeah. We can do it. Um
Yeah, give us a Stefan.
yeah, where's the
You know,
Stefan of today?
like if we introduce Stefan today, it would just be like, and welcome to a guy who gives inappropriate club recommendations.
Yeah,
Is that funnier?
it's longer.
Yeah, it's longer. It's a big mouthful. Yeah. Why not just give us a character name and let us discover the joke rather than telling us the joke in the character name?
Yeah. SNL, I hope you're taking notes because we're dishing out gold here.
That's right. That's right. Um. So yeah. So she, the joke here was like she's introduced as the woman who's aging gracefully, but she's really like not, and she's had like a ton of plastic surgery and stuff. And I don't know what they did to make it look like Heidi had a facelift, but well done, SNL makeup department, because it was whatever they did was kind of subtle. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Like it.
her face had that weird tightness that that people who've had facelifts have.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it looked like Heidi. You could tell it's Heidi, but yeah, it was just
Yeah,
slightly off.
yeah, and I don't know what they did exactly. I don't know if she's wearing some sort of prosthetic cheeks or something, but or if it was like her expressions. But I feel like there had to be some sort of makeup thing going on.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the woman who's aging gracefully, kind of going into it about all the work she's done. She's had donor eyes. Uh,
Hmm.
she goes in for nipple replacements. Um,
Yeah, and she at one point she like wants to flash and show them off, and she's like, "No, it's man's nipples, so it's okay.
yeah,
I can show them."
exactly. Like she puts on this kind of voice that's kind of a little hard to make out. Okay, something like that.
Hmm.
And of course talking about how women's age is like the speed limit. Ignore it unless you're in a school zone.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Um, I like the gag at the end where she turns around. She says like she indicates that her age is 360, and she's like, "Oh, 360," and she does like a turnaround, and she turns around, and you see on her back she's got like binder clips on her back holding her skin
yeah,
together.
like I mean, I thought the segment was okay so far. Like it was a lot of like Heidi kind of mugging and doing a lot of fast
Uh-huh.
talk. But yeah, the binder clip one was. I think that's where that was a good way to end it. Like
It's a
that's
good visual gag. I,
yeah.
I think overall this went on a little too long.
A little bit, yeah. Like maybe it didn't have as much gas in the tank as
Yeah,
one would have hoped. I mean, the sketch basically kind of hinges on the fact of how much you love Heidi and can watch her kind of do anything. And I'm a fan of Heidi, but yeah, even I was like, this is kind of petering out for me a little bit. So when it ended
yeah,
with the binder clips, I was like, oh, okay, that was a pretty strong way to end it.
yeah,
Absolutely, but yeah, but overall, it was okay. The segment.
yeah.
Okay. So next up we have Charlotte the Pregnant Stingray, Ego Wodum. So basically, this is based off a story where
Hmm. Which I had not heard of. I had not heard about this
I
story.
think I heard about it a little bit. So basically,
Uh huh.
in North Carolina, in this aquarium in North Carolina, a stingray, a
Right.
female stingray, uh, who is in a by herself, no male stingrays around her, somehow got pregnant, and like it's without a male partner. People were wondering how this
Hmm.
happened. How could have this happened? And of course, the stingray's name is Charlotte, North Carolina. So
Yeah, no, I would love it if this stingray was the subject of Sydney Sweeney's new movie, Immaculate. And it's just
Ooh.
about an immaculate stingray conception.
A stingray nun in a convent
A
getting pregnant.
stingray nun, Sydney Sweeney, as you've never seen her before. I would
Wow.
watch that movie.
Dude. We are spitting out ideas here. Like, we're an
And
idea.
yet somehow Sydney Sweeney also still has a shower scene.
Yes, exactly. Of course.
Playing a stingray.
Got to see them gills.
Because, it's SeaWorld. You got to hose them down.
Yeah. Oh, hubba hubba. But yeah, so then we have the pregnant stingray come out to explain this side of the story. It's Ego
Right.
Wodum in one of the most elaborate stingray costumes I've ever seen. It is impressive.
It's a very impressive outfit. I mean, just kudos to the SNL costume department once again.
Yeah, they even went so far as to put like those big door knocker earrings on the stingray that say like her name's Charlotte on them. And like
Yeah.
the basic running gag is that Michael Che is the father of this
Right.
pregnancy. Like he impregnated a stingray.
Michael Che gets weird, man.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, you and your latex allergy."
Yeah, and
And-
it's him saying like, we heard it was a immaculate conception. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you immaculated into me, and I
immaculated 3 times, and
like, oh my god.
yeah, funny stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I enjoyed it because it was just so bizarre, and I liked how Jay was playing it, and at one point he's just like, "I don't like this."
Yeah, like first we're getting it on with dogs, now we're getting it on with stingrays. A lot of bestiality themes here happening in SNL tonight.
I guess so. A fair amount of bestiality humor tonight.
But yeah, overall, I thought this was pleasant enough.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was, it was fun and bizarre, and that's all I really want from an SNL weekend update segment.
Fun and bizarre. That's all we ask.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So next up, we got Hooters waitress.
Hooters waitress. I feel like this one's going to be all over the internet.
Oh, you don't say.
So we got, it's like closing time at Hooters. Well, I guess towards the end of the night, because they still got customers there. We got Chloe Feynman and Sarah Sherman as Hooters waitresses, and they're like counting up her tips. Chloe's got like $42. Sarah's got $39, I think she said, and then Sydney Sweeney comes in and she's like, "Oh, I got 36,000 in tips."
Yeah, she pulls out stacks of cash like a drug dealer.
Yeah, and she's the new waitress there. And then we have Bo and Yang come out as a male waiter. So if you ever wanted to see Bo and Yang in a Hooters uniform, you are in luck.
Yowza!
Wasn't there a lawsuit like a few years back where there was a guy who wanted to work at Hooters and he was claiming it was discriminatory when they wouldn't hire him?
There was, yeah, it was a whole thing about letting men work at Hooters, and honestly, that's kind of where I thought this sketch was going.
Mm-hmm.
To have, because if you bring up Bowen in a Hooters outfit, it's like, oh, okay, so he's kind of going to be the focus of the sketch, but then he wasn't, and it kind of took this other turn that I kind of.
Well, no, because again, Sydney Sweeney in a Hooters uniform.
Yeah.
And they got it like pretty accurate as I recall, because they even have the pantyhose, which it was like years before I realized that like the pantyhose are part of the Hooters uniform for some reason.
Really?
Even though they're wearing like booty shorts. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I didn't even notice that.
I think the uniform was like I read some article or some history of Hooters once, because I'm an intellectual.
Yes.
And I think like the uniform is basically constructed around this owner's very specific fetishes or something.
Oh dear.
Because I don't know, it's so weird. Like they're still sticking with that uniform even though it's like so 1980s.
It's classic. It's retro.
I guess so. I couldn't tell you the last time I set foot in a Hooters. It feels like it should be a restaurant chain that has gone out of business by this point, right?
I think a few of them are. Like, I know there was definitely one out in Wayne that's gone out of business. I think the whole quote unquote.
There was one by the Willowbrook Mall, right?
Yeah, that's done.
We're getting really Jersey now, folks.
Super Jersey. Sorry, guys. But
people in Morris County will love this.
Yeah, this is for you guys. But like, I know a bunch of those like Hooters have closed down, and I think the quote unquote restaurants type of places are kind of on its way.
Right.
I think people aren't as pumped to go to those as they used to be.
People are probably like, "Hey, we have internet connections.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
We don't really need to go out and have mediocre to decent food to see women in tight clothing."
yeah. I can just go on OnlyFans and order some takeout.
Exactly,
Done.
like an American.
Like a proud American.
But yeah, so Sweeney is like, "Oh yeah, I get it. You're teasing the new girl," and she's like, "No, I mean, I think I'm just getting good tips because it's I'm providing such great service." And she goes over to the table to demonstrate, and it's several of the guys there, and Sydney Sweeney spills beers all over the table, and then like ends up pouring a beer directly into Andrew Dismuke's mouth, basically waterboarding Andrew Dismukes with beer.
Yeah, very much so. And like he was like kind of coughs up before he gives up his next line a little bit.
I mean, congratulations to Andrew Dismukes for not choking out on national television.
Yeah, I probably would have. I would like. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Well, hey, I've been sober for 22 years and just broke that, but hey, you're still a great waitress." Um,
Yeah, pretty much. And then
yeah.
it's like, and then basically the Hooters waitress say, "Hey, no offense, but you kind of make us feel bad that you get all the tips,
Hmm.
just for being horrible at your job, and we work."
Looking like Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, and that was another part too, where Chloe Feynman goes over to serve the
Hmm.
same guy, and they're like, "No, you go away. We want the other one." I'm like, "Look,
Yeah.
Chloe
Yeah.
Feynman is, I mean, she ain't hideous, or I don't know."
Perfectly attractive, just not built how you would expect a Hooters waitress to be built.
Ooh, okay. All right. Wait a
Well, I
minute.
mean, come on, look, Chloe Foment, like she's literally done a sketch on SNL where she's like talking about how she has a flat ass.
Yes.
So
Okay, so she knows what's up.
I don't feel like I'm particularly out of line, and particularly since I feel like Chloe may very well have had a hand in writing this sketch.
She might have. We don't have the who wrote what, but
We don't
yeah,
have writing credits for this one
yeah,
yet,
not
but
yet. But yeah, so Sydney Sweeney feels bad. It's like, all right, it seems like
mhm,
I thought I found a home here. Seems like all the
right,
other jobs I've had didn't work out. I worked at the airport. No planes took off.
right,
I was a crossing guard. Thousands died.
yeah, yeah. I like that detail, and then it takes a very bizarre turn at the end where James Austin Johnson comes in as Hooters mascot Hooter B Owl because they're owl themed people.
Yes, get it,
They are owl themed.
get it.
Look, no, those circles with the dots in the center, those are owl eyes, and
Yes,
you are perverted if you think that's anything else.
it's
It's owl themed.
yes, absolutely. That's all it's about.
Um, yeah,
So then the Hooters yells, convinces her to stay. It's like, oh,
right.
you're like my Harry Potter. You need to stay here. This is where you
Yeah,
belong.
yeah. This is Hogwarts, and you're my Harry Potter.
Yeah,
And he's like, and now I have to go because I'm very depressed because my owl friend died this week.
yeah. My friend Flacco flew into a building,
Right, right.
and I was like,
And he's like,
oh, call back. All right.
yeah, and he was like, what would make me feel better is if someone flashed me their breasts. And then Chloe Feynman's character goes, oh, I'll do it. And he says, yeah, I don't care. And how abruptly he said, I don't care. Like she had barely even gotten the thing out of her mouth. And he just was like, yeah, I don't care. And turns around. Very
It
funny.
was very quick.
Um, I think this was a good sketch. I kind of wish this had escalated more somehow, like escalated more like in how incompetent she was or how much they didn't care about the other wait staff or something.
Yeah, I kind of feel
Um,
like this might have been cut or chopped down or
cut
edited.
down.
Yeah, cut
Uh-huh.
down a little bit. Like I feel like there was like kind of more there. Overall, it wasn't bad, but yeah, it feels like
Yeah.
this was like a chopped down version of the original
I
thing.
saw somebody on Twitter, and I don't remember who right now, but I think they were saying like, well, I admire their restraint in not, like spraying water on her chest and making her basically do a wet t-shirt thing.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, yeah, then the sketch isn't really about the comedy anymore, I
Yeah,
think. But,
we've come a long way since the Lindsay Lohan Harry Potter sketch.
Yeah, yeah. You look back at that sketch, and
Oof.
it's a little like, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's funny, but
yeah, I think somebody pointed out that she might have been like 17 when she did that too, which
she
is,
was still pretty young. I mean, because that
whew,
was like in the early Lindsay Lohan heyday.
yeah, oh boy. I feel like,
Was that might have been the first time she hosted? I know she hosted a few times.
yeah, I think so. But yeah,
Let me see if I can find that.
it's definitely up on YouTube, that sketch. But yeah, you watch it, you kind of feel like
Yeah,
you're gonna get put on the list afterwards.
kind of.
Yikes.
Um,
Yes.
let's
Oof.
see. She looks like she hosted in 2004. She's hosted four times. Let's see.
Oh, she's close to being in the Five Timers Club then.
Close to.
Ooh.
Don't have a summary of her sketches, so I don't know when the Hermione one was. It
Okay.
was probably 2004 or 2006 when she next hosted.
Okay. All right. But yeah,
You know,
we've
Jimmy
come a
Fallon
long
was
way.
still on the show, and Chris Parnell was on the show. Yeah,
Yeah, because I remember Fallon and Dratch were her
yeah, and
Harry
Seth
Potter.
Meyers was in the sketch, so it had to be 2004 because he just anyway.
Okay. But
Yeah,
yeah, this
so
sketch I thought was okay. Like, if yeah, it felt like it could have
mhm.
been like fleshed out a little bit more. I'll say.
Has to be a better way for you to phrase that, dude.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize that.
I wish they'd exploited her more.
You know what I mean.
No, I know what you meant. I know what you meant. It was funny phrasing.
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 All right, next
Uh,
sketch. Airbnb design commercial.
yeah, this is another pre-tape. We got Sydney Sweeney and Chloe Trost as their interior designers for Airbnbs. And is that a job?
I don't think so. I think they're kind
Okay,
of playing off the trope that a lot of, I mean, if you've ever used an Airbnb, a lot of them kind of have the same sort of setup and
right,
design. So I think they just thought, well, maybe like, what if there was like a certain interior designer company that exclusively just did Airbnbs. So
right.
I guess that was the impetus of this sketch.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I like the fact that Chloe Trost is kind of getting a chance to shine here because it's
Hmm.
like I said, Sydney Sweeney and Chloe Trost play Chanel and Channel,
Yeah,
two, which that made me chuckle. Yeah, two
yeah,
interior designers for Airbnbs, and they do things like they have things in Airbnbs like the 12-page garage packet about how to properly take out the garbage, and
hmm,
things like the locked closet with owner stuff do not touch,
yeah,
politically ambiguous artwork that says lives matter.
yeah. This was okay. It didn't really send me. I think Chloe and Sydney Sweeney both had good flat delivery. I think that added to it.
Yeah, the vocal
But other than
fry.
that, I wasn't too nuts about it. Maybe I would have dug it more if I'd ever stayed in an Airbnb, but I have not.
Yeah, I mean, I did stay in Airbnb like once, and so a few of these things did kind of hit for me. I like the
Hmm.
line like, "Why stay at a hotel when for the same amount of money you can stay at a place with worse sheets and a camera in the toilet?"
Yeah,
Which is always something I'm kind of. I don't know. Like I did stay at
because
Airbnb.
they're not regulated in a big way, are they?
I don't I don't know. I don't think so. But
Yeah,
like part of me always want you're staying in someone's house. Like I don't know, like a stranger's house. Like they could
yeah,
like do some weird shit and like put cameras in places and I don't know.
right.
It just feels kind of like freaky, like almost like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Like it feels like they can come home and like do weird shit to you, but I don't know.
What version of Goldilocks are you reading, dude?
Oh, it's
What the
are
hell?
we not reading the same books?
Do they do weird shit to Goldilocks in the version you're reading?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
yeah,
uh,
but I mean, I also
send me that link.
ooh, it's on the dark web. I don't know if I can.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that checks out.
Uh, yeah, but I also like the fact that they did the testimonial. They had Punky do
Hmm.
that, and Punky talking.
I liked how they cut back to Punky later, and she's like, "Oh wait, you did me already."
Yeah,
And
I got a kick
yeah,
out of that, and
yeah, because it's like she's the only testimonial they have.
yeah,
That was cute.
yeah, and I also like the them talking about the other places they have decorated, like the cozy casita steps from LAX, and it's a house
Hmm.
that's with the literally like feet away from the airport. As you see, like a
Yeah, we see like a plane literally like flying feet over
right.
the house.
And of course, they mentioned the Wonka experience in Glasgow, which of course is a nod to the whole Wonka experience over in Glasgow that kind of went viral online as
Yeah,
well.
that trended this week. Yeah, there's they promoted this place with AI art, and then the actual attraction was just like kind of a warehouse with a few rainbows thrown up around, and it just looked sad.
It looked really bad.
It looks like if you were going to like do some murders and lure people there with some Willy Wonka stuff, this is how you do it.
Yeah, it looked like such a scam. It was like a Fire Fest,
Yeah,
but with Wonka.
yeah,
And like from what I've heard,
yeah.
there wasn't even any chocolate there for the kids. Like it was all just like fucking fake shit.
What are we even doing there, people?
Yeah, like no one even bothered to get like chocolate bars for these kids.
Pick up some Kit Kats for crying out loud.
Yeah, Valentine's Day just happened. You can get them for a discount at CVS.
Exactly. I saw some of them for 50% off in CVS just the other day.
Oh god. But I like this
That's
skit.
right. I shop at CVS
Yeah, as you do. Who doesn't?
because I'm a high roller.
Yeah, you got you got that CVS money. But
That's right. I get that $10 discount every month, son.
yeah,
Wah, wah, wah.
But I like this sketch. I thought it was pretty clever. I like that Chloe Trost gets to feature a sketch prominently,
Mhm.
and yeah, I dug it. Like I do see what you're saying. They could have done a little bit more with it, but
Yeah, I,
overall,
I wasn't too nuts about it. I was just like, all right,
I like what we got here. I thought it was pretty cool.
okay,
Okay,
all right. And
rounded.
lastly, we have Loud Table.
Yes. So
We get Andrew Dismukes on a date with Sydney Sweeney.
yes. Uh,
Um,
yeah, and so they're at a table. They're a couple. They've been going out for a little bit, having a nice little romantic dinner. But they're next to a
mhm,
table of gentlemen that are
mhm.
being quite loud and
They're
boisterous,
being very noisy.
raucous,
Yes, yes.
and yeah,
Dismuke says, "I'm going to go ask them to quiet down," and then he unexpectedly goes over and he gives like this emotional monologue, and he's like, "Hey, you guys seem like you're really close. These guys must be really special friends, and I bet you really love them."
and it's like yeah,
And
yeah.
and it gets very awkward, and everybody just quiets down, and then he comes back to the table and he says, "Nothing shuts up a group of guys like an earnest expression of how much they mean to each other."
Which is very true.
Yeah,
And then they cut back to the guys and like, oh yeah, how's your steak? It's like, no, it's fine, it's good.
I think he says it looks good. He hasn't even bitten into his steak
Oh,
yet. He's like, "Oh, it looks good."
it's good. Looks like steak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Dismuke says, yeah, I told a friend of mine in middle school that laughing with them was the highlight of my day. Haven't spoken to him since.
Yep. Uh,
Uh,
funny stuff.
yeah,
Funny
yeah.
stuff. And then they're about to enjoy their date, and then there's a noisy table from of women because women can be noisy too.
Women be talking. Know what I mean?
Yeah, we're because the sexes are equal.
Yes.
Men and women can both be loud and annoying.
Equality.
Yeah, equality. Hashtag equality. Um, and, and so Sydney Sweeney goes over to quiet them down, and she uh, what exactly does she say? She says a thing about like kind of considering that your mother was once a young lady and
Yeah, she
had her
basically.
own hopes and dreams, and
Yeah, basically. Hey, did you ever think about how your mom was just a girl too, just like you? And then
mhm,
like she showed them a picture of her mom as a young woman pregnant with her, and then like they all get wistful for their moms, like, oh yeah, my mom
right,
called me and I sent it straight to voicemail. And then Molly, who has a line here saying, oh, when I was 15, I stole the car, smoked a full pack of cigarettes, and barfed in the
and
front
threw up
seat.
in the car.
The
Yeah,
smell hasn't left.
smell hasn't left.
Yeah, and then they all get sad and wistful because that's women get
Yeah,
quiet when you remind them of your mother's humanity.
yeah, yeah. And then when she walks back to the table, doesn't take the photo back. I thought that was an odd choice.
No, you keep that as a
I
reminder.
mean, look, I'll go with you that you're keeping that photo of your mother like inside your dress for some reason, but I think it's weird that you hand it to them and then you don't take it back. But okay, and then And Dismukes is like, okay, well, now we can finally enjoy our meal. And Sydney Sweeney says, yeah, I cheated on you with my boss, and I think we should break up. And then Glenn Powell walks in again.
Yep.
And then we just have Dismukes going, oh, man.
Yeah.
And just nice, absurdist Andrew Dismukes ending.
Yeah, and then like it ends with the guys at the table saying, "Hey, you okay, man?" And then it's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I guess I'm all right. Thanks for reaching out. I'm glad you guys reached out." And then he looks over again, and they're gone. It's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and we just cut to a wide shot, and the
Yeah."
table's cleared, and he's like, and they're gone.
Yeah, not a bad sketch. I like the premise of it. I like the premise of
Mm-hmm.
them finding a truth about like, yeah, how guys clam up when they express earnest expression of affection for one another, which is a very true
Right.
thing. Uh,
Very true.
yeah. I mean, part of me kind of thought they kind of wish they maybe went a little bit further with it, but I did like the sketch of I like what we got here.
How would you like to see them go further with it?
I do not know, but
Okay.
it's a great premise.
Boom, nailed you.
Yep, I've been trumbled.
Yeah.
But I do like the premise of the sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it did have a nice little button. As far as the 10-1 goes,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I really like the ending. I think this was one of the better endings they had of the night, and
yeah.
I feel certain that Dismukes had a hand in writing in this.
Absolutely.
I mean, this was his voice all over, and
yeah, absolutely.
just funny stuff. I just liked, "Oh, I cheated on you with my boss, and I think I'm gonna go." I loved how abrupt and absurd that was.
Yeah,
and he's just like, "Oh man."
That did take me a minute. I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
Kind of got whiplash from that. But yeah, and that's our episode, guys. Overall, solid episode, I would say. Definitely a step up from Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
Many steps up from Dakota and Jacob Elordi.
Uh-huh.
Maybe on par with Io.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit better.
I
I'd have
feel
to watch
like
them both.
I feel like it was a decent show overall. I felt like I didn't feel like there was anything spectacular, but I also didn't feel like there was anything horrible.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just a very good, even keeled, average episode of SNL, which after the off weeks we've had lately feels very satisfying.
Yes, competent.
Yeah.
It's a competent
Yeah.
episode.
Above mediocre.
There you go. That's
No, I mean it just very okay overall.
Yeah.
There weren't any that I was like, oh my god, that was great, that was an instant classic, but there also weren't any where it was like, how did this get on the show?
Nothing totally bottomed out, but
yeah, exactly.
overall, I thought it was pretty solid
Exactly.
overall.
Let me ask you this: during the good nights, did Sydney Sweeney forget to thank Glenn Powell?
No, I think she thanked him really quickly, saying,
Oh, okay.
Oh, thanks for Kacey and Glenn, and like things. But she
okay,
did say
just
Glenn
first name.
Yeah, she did say Glenn really quickly.
Oh, okay, because I was like, he's standing right next to her. You did you forget to thank him?
Yeah, your boyfriend. You're gonna
Yeah,
he's right there.
You're my boyfriend. And let me ask you this: if you were seeing your fiance hosting SNL, would you be watching in the dressing room or would you watch in the audience?
I mean, maybe it's more comfortable in the dressing room.
Maybe,
but,
or I mean, you would be assured of getting a good view of every sketch.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I just thought that was a little odd or interesting. Is her fiance a famous person?
I think he's like a producer or something because he did mention that.
Oh yeah, she did say he produced her movie.
Yeah, so
I'm googling Sydney Sweeney fiance now.
Let's do it.
Jonathan Davino.
Okay.
She is 26. He is 38.
Oh. Okay.
Well, that's fine. It's 12 years. I mean.
All right. I guess for Hollywood, that's about par for the course.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine. I don't think that's a problem personally. But okay.
All right. Cool. All right, but yes.
But my stepfather is 13 years older than my mother, so maybe I have a skewed perception.
Okay.
So.
All right. Cool. Hey, I'm not here to judge. Hey man. You swing how you swing.
Let's see. What does he do? He is a businessman and a producer.
Mm.
He is credited as a producer on The Caretaker, Immaculate, and The Player's Table. They work together as producing partners for her 50/50 Films production company, Per Entertainment Tonight.
Okay.
So, that is Jonathan Davino.
Yes. Shout out to you, Davino.
And judging from these photos, it looks like he's trying to maybe bring back the mullet.
Really?
Well, I mean, Google Sydney Sweeney fiance and look at the photos and tell me it's the starts of a mullet there.
Okay.
It's a bit long in the back.
Okay. All right. Well, you know,
I mean, I feel like it's starting to get into mullet territory there.
let's see. Sydney Sweeney fiance, Jonathan Davino, images. Oh. Hmm.
See, I mean, hair's kind of swept back,
Yeah.
but kind of long. You know, it's definitely covering some of his neck there. You know,
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's definitely.
I mean, it's not quite a mullet, but it's getting in that territory. I feel like.
Yeah. It's like almost Steven Seagal-ish, but not quite.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not enough to like make a ponytail.
Not yet. Not yet. Not with that attitude.
Yeah, but
Okay. All right. Well,
anyway,
shout out to you, Jonathan.
so yeah, so
Oh,
you know, a perfectly cromulent episode of SNL. I think.
absolutely. So yeah, let's go to the Twitter. See what our Twitter folks think.
Hello, Twitter folks. What do you think?
See, Boardman gets paid at Lihat the
Mhm.
Lion, saying, "Hi guys, hope I'm not late. Pretty good episode. Kind of surprised Matt Shat didn't show up. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's Mikey Day's recurring character, who's a goofy-looking guy who's married to this spectacularly beautiful woman, and nobody can understand
right.
why.
And the skits ended pretty well. Also, nobody calls anyone Youngblood anymore. Because of the cold open, saying,
Yeah, yeah. People should call each other Youngblood more.
I think we're kind of trying to bring back Youngblood.
I agree that.
What's,
I agree.
what's up, Youngblood?
All right, Youngblood.
Yeah. But yeah, see, I think they only kept our host is incredibly hot to that one Hooter sketch. I think everything else, you can kind of say her the attractiveness doesn't hinge on the entire sketch. I think you can make the argument for that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hmm.
I don't know. Did she have to be a cheerleader in the Airbud sketch? Maybe not, but
Yeah. All right.
yeah,
All right. That's agreed. We can debate that, I guess.
yeah. Maybe it's more interesting, and it's just easier to have the cheerleader dating the basketball star. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm probably overthinking this.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if we really needed the show boobs gag in the monologue personally, but
That. Yeah.
I think I just didn't look. I mean, it's perfectly fine if she's willing to joke about that, So who am I to judge? But I I didn't like the implication that she's only a success because of her attractiveness.
Yeah. Like I get it.
I mean, certainly that's in the mix, but
Yeah. Like you could be. I understand. Like, or it could be maybe a joke. I mean, I guess they were maybe thinking of, oh, this is like a joke about the people who only think that she's successful because of her boobs. But it also could be taken in a
yeah, I didn't
way.
get that.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I thought it just the clear implication was just like, oh yeah, she's gone topless, therefore she is now famous.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
And I mean, look, like I said, that's certainly in the mix, and I've certainly seen actresses whose careers have taken off after they've done a nude scene or something like that. That happens, and that is, I mean, it's a career decision when you do that, I suppose.
It is. It is. But yeah,
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah. Like if they took out that boobs joke, I would have been. It would have. I would have been cool with it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so Jacob at darkmatter_362 says overall a solid ep. Cold open was awful. Heidi looks stunning though.
Oh.
Decent mono. I'm assuming you mean the monologue, or get well soon. Detectives Hooters, we get it. Boobs and Loud Table were okay. I wanted to like Makeup Artist and Airbnb,
Mm.
and then he has like a little sad face. Big Bench was trash.
Ooh.
Enjoyed Please Don't Destroy and Bowen. It wasn't for everyone, but Airbud was hilarious. SOTN. What is SOTN? I don't think I'm familiar with that acronym.
I don't know. That's a new one on me.
SOTN.
State of the nation. That's probably not it.
SOTN.
Uh,
Urban Dictionary.
all right, while you look that up, I'll go with Drew S. Rod at DSIE78. This was the most complete episode since Driver. Second week in a row of good ideas from writers. Execution was better this week. Nice to see Longfellow in a lot of sketches. Weekend Update is most consistent source of laughs for me. 10 to 1 was a sketch of the night. Sydney was a good host, worthy of a return.
Oh, sketch of the night. That's what he meant.
Oh, there we go. Hey,
sketch of the night.
We got
sketch of the night. Because I went to Urban Dictionary and it says short for Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I'm like, that can't be it. That can't be it.
Castlevania.
Okay, so Jacob is saying that Air Bud was sketch of the night. Duh. Okay, we've never used that acronym before, but maybe we should start. Sketch of the night. SOTN.
All right. Thank you, Jacob. You educated us.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. I'm sorry. I was searching while you were reading that last comment. Have we read Manette's comment yet?
You have not.
Okay. She says, our friend Manette Marati says, I am willing to give SNL a pass for the obvious jokes about her looks a couple times for what was a genuinely solid step up from the writing slump they've been in since 2024. Sydney was a great performer. Wouldn't be upset if she comes back to host again.
There we go.
Yeah, I think she did a nice job. And then Thomasina replied to Manette saying, even though I didn't really love the episode, I think Sydney is a good host. Wouldn't mind seeing her back.
Okay. And we got Techie at under Uncle Scrooge DCK saying the PDD and Airbnb ad got chuckles. In other cases, like Hooters and Air Bud, maybe these were last-minute rewrites, but seemed like folks were struggling to land the chars.
The characters, I think you mean.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes sense. Fun energy from the host. Okay.
Yeah.
So, overall, it seemed like people were pretty positive on this app.
People seem to like it, yeah.
Yeah, and we seem to like it, too.
We liked it, yeah. I don't think it's like an all-time classic or anything like that, but a good, decent episode of SNL and, food to a starving man at this point.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Sip of water for two people in the desert.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And next week we got another new episode of SNL. We got Mr. Josh Brolin returning for the third time.
Yes, J-Bro.
As well as Ariana Grande.
Yes.
As the musical guest.
Third time.
She's also back for her third time, I think.
Yes, third time for both of these people. J-Bro and Agron. Agron?
Yeah.
So join us for that. I'm looking forward to that. I think this is going to be a good one. And actually, I think I saw somewhere online somebody saying like Josh Brolin is like their first host over the age of 50 to host a show because like this whole
for this season.
For the season, yes, for the season.
Yeah.
Because like if you notice this season, then like the hosts have been relatively on the young side. So this will be the first one of the season where we get an older, seasoned thespian to host the show. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so check it out. And that's our episode, guys. Thanks again for listening to the podcast. As always, you can follow us on Twitter because we refuse to call it X at SNL Nerds Show, and you can follow me on all platforms at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
You can follow me on platforms at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic. And please rate, review, podcast, contribute to our Patreon over at Non-Productive.com. And, it really helps us out with putting on the show and spreading the word of mouth.
Spread the word.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
I think that's about it.
I think so.
So join us next week with Josh Brolin and Ariana Grande. I don't think they'll be here, but you never know. You never know.
They might swing by.
They might swing by. But we'll find out next week. But until then, nerds out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.